Hello, everyone. We are live. I apologize for the delay. I am that Kimberly, and hello and welcome, and thank you everyone for stopping by and stopping what they were doing to join us. Um, I am just waiting for a few minutes. Darun will be joining us. I wanted to just make sure that our stream didn't stop because StreamYard, if you start so many minutes late, it disconnects and all this other jazz. It doesn't necessarily let you pause or restart and things of that sort. Anyways, so today's topic is having to do with legal, accounting, and tax requirements resources. It's not advice. This is just places and resource platforms, tools that you can use or research to figure out if they best fit you and your company. Since we started, the past couple of, I'd say 2 months that we've been going live, we decided to do our first series about startups, Startup Tuesday, and you can go back and see any of our past lives having to do with. We actually had some great guests on in between these sessions that I'm showing here, or these topics. One was register your business. Name plus domain and social media. The other one was about a business plan, and the best way you can find those is just you can go onto any platform where we are live, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and just put in the hashtag. Either it's Deb hashtag, or that Kimberly, or industry live. And see, I'm just going to show you, because some people, when I tell them you could even just go to Google and put the hashtag in, they kind of look at me like I'm crazy. But hashtags are used for search no matter what, whether it's a social media platform, or whether it's a search engine like Google. So here I put in that Kimberly, I hit the search button, and under all, you can see that it automatically brings up, of course, my website. But if it also brings up all our past lives, as well as the social media, and all those other things we tag that with, or then you can also scroll over to videos, and other things will come up as well. Some that might not be mine, but others most likely are. So yeah, just wanted to let you know that is out there for you to go back and watch. They're all about 30 minutes because we are trying to be mindful with everybody's time. But yeah, so that is our topic for today, is legal, accounting, and requirements. Wherever you're watching from today, make sure you leave a comment. If you have questions, I want to be able to answer them when Deb gets here. She will also be able to answer them. If you, yes, I put up the Google, just a reminder, you can go back and watch any of our videos. And also, if you watch on the replay, tell us maybe what the put funniest response, but maybe the most interesting resource that you found useful. And last but not least, if you wish to be on the show, or be a guest, I should say, just reach out to me or Deb, and I will throw that link up here, our email address, when I find it. Oh, there it is. Yes. You can email either one of us about coming on our Tuesday live. So, okay, let's jump into this. And let's go to our first resource about legal. Yay! Okay, so legal, very super important. People don't always, let me remove my face here. I got free legal advice, a few legal documents that were looked at, a standard contract that was written by a friend of mine that evolved over time. And now there's so many great things out there that I'm going to talk about here. Here's a listing of them. I'm going to zoom in more because I feel like you really can't see when it comes to, and I'm going to scroll over because I want you to focus on the legal side first. But here are some resources. Two of them I have used, and I'll let you know which of those two are. But these are resources that I was given through a book that I read, a couple books that I've written that were written by Marie Folio. She's amazing. One of the books is Everything is Figure Outable, and the second one escapes me right now, but Marie Folio is great about teaching business entrepreneurs and how to figure things out, resources and other things. I just highly recommend you looking her up. But she listed some of these because data and privacy and all those things can get you into trouble if you're not doing the right things with them and you're not publicizing what you're going to do with them. You know, she has this privacy and general data protection regulation. She brings up that the Gdpr, which is General Data Protection Regulation, is a European law that went into effect 2018. And it doesn't matter if your business is in Europe or not. If you have clients in Europe, you collect data and use this data and processed by your business, you could be held, there could be a financial penalty if you're not doing all the right things. So she lists out, she gives the definition of what personal data is, which is any information that can be used to identify an individual, includes commonly collected information, names, IP addresses, location, data, all that great stuff. I never had to worry about that when I first started because our IT guys and website company handled all that great stuff and they followed all the laws. But if you're an independent or smaller business, just starting out, you definitely want to protect yourself and make sure you're doing all the required things. So I found using LegalZoom the second time around, which is the third one on here, that not just creates legal documents. I use them to read over my legal documents, but now they also are you can create the documents through them. You can have them review documents. You can also they provide accounting services now. LegalZoom has definitely stepped up their game. And it's either they have different packages. So I would highly recommend you looking out at those, looking up LegalZoom to see if it benefits you or your company, if that's one of the ones that you can definitely utilize. And I see Deb is here to join us. Come on in, sister. There you are. Oh, I added her and she took herself out. Come back.
We both can't click at the same time.
Darn that technology.
I know.
Well, thank you for joining us. Coming on in hot from the
coming in hot off of 290, guys.
Woohoo! I appreciate it. I was just telling them a little bit about LegalZoom because the first two I was scared. Well, the first one I was scared to mispronounce. And I've never used it, but explaining to them about privacy and cookies and all this great stuff that they need to make sure that they protect themselves now more than ever, because, it's your business, right? You need to know.
Yeah.
So the first one on here, I've never tried. And Deb, do you even want to try and take a stab at what that is, that name?
No, I do not.
Ayubinda. It's a privacy.
I would say it's Ubinda. And there's probably a silent letter in there, something like that. But now I'm going to research that after this call and confirm it.
So it's a privacy and cookie policy generator, which is very important if you are gathering data, emails, whatever it is. I first read this one as avocado docs, but it's just avo docs.
Go check the avocados.
Yeah, go check them out. Free legal documents for startups. And mind you, when they say free, I'm pretty sure that they have a package that starts as free, limited. And then if you pay for something or you pay for a package that gets you more, right? I don't want to mislead anybody and let them think that all this is, these are free platforms, because they're probably not. And again, this is not advice. These are tools that we're recommending you go do your research on and figure out if they work for you and or your company, right? Not advice.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then there's the cookie bot, consent. I think that's supposed to be content tool, but maybe it's consent. Oh, cookie consent tool. Yeah. See, there's my ADD kicking in, which is very important. People don't realize that even though they don't hit yes or no, that it still is you can't back out of it. It's gonna do something. It's gonna automatically default. I saw this. Either I read it or I saw it in an article that says that it automatically defaults to whatever that website wants you. So you better answer it. You better answer whatever the cookie consent tool is.
Well, then what's the point in even consenting if you either have to click yes or they just do it for you?
Yeah. Well, they have to say that they did it. It's by law. It's required now, right?
So it's by law, but it still doesn't mean anything.
Well, no. Well, people think that if they don't answer it, I feel that they're not going to be like they're going to be opted out, and they're not. They have to opt out. They have to say no, right? That they don't want those cookies to be tracked. And if people don't understand what that means, that's like when you're shopping for something and then automatically you start seeing, in your Yahoo, your Google or whatever it is, you start seeing it appear in your email, your email box on the left or right hand side. You start seeing your browser. It's following you around, those cookies, right? So you need to make sure that if your clients don't want to opt in, that they get the choice to opt out. So, and consumer, just make sure you answer that yes or no question. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just know what I've.
No, but that's good information. Yeah, it makes sense.
Then the OneTrust is another cookie consent tool. Okay, read that one. Is it Osano? Would you say?
Osano.
Okay. A data privacy platform. And then there's Agree, which is contracts and payments. And then last but not least was DocSign, a dynamic watermarking for the most sensitive documents. So I have used DocuSign and Hello Smile. Or Hello Sign is what it was called. Sorry, my bad. Hello Sign. And those are also same tools as DocSend. They probably have different packages, but they all help you send out secure contracts, documents that can easily be signed and sent back to you, which made the world a difference when that thing came in, right? Yeah. No more printing and then faxing back contracts.
Right. So I use EverSign currently.
Oh, okay, awesome. EverSign. But those are all secure ways, correct, to get your contracts back. And it's very important that, especially if there's private information, account, stuff like that, you need to have that all protected. So, because if not, it can come back and bite you in the butt for sure. You don't want to have a hack, if your systems ever get hacked. So, on to our here we go. On to our accounting. Accounting. It is something that gives me a headache, but it's absolutely mandatory, right? I was never a QuickBooks person, but Intuit has definitely made QuickBooks so much easier online. I just have never used it. We used it as a company, the enterprise, but there are smaller tools now for small businesses. I just couldn't tell you about them, right? I just know that they exist. Expensify is great. I've used that in the past. What do you guys use for your expense reports?
Well, we we currently work an old school method with a spreadsheet.
Okay, well.
But we are moving into a new platform in January. I'm not 100% what we've decided on, but we are rolling something new out. So
yeah, and it's kind of typical that startups, companies with under 10, I'd say maybe under 15 even. We didn't use Expensify till much later. We always just scanned them and, did the same thing, spreadsheet, and submitted them. But since there's really only a few of us that were submitting expenses, but it definitely makes everybody's life easier. I feel, having some sort of app or tool that they can
helps automate it.
Automate it.
Yeah. Now that like we're growing, so this was a big thing for us to streamline and automate more of our processes so that it flows a lot better as we get bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Well, good. Accounting. I skipped over Bench. Is a online bookkeeping software for small businesses. I've never used it. I'll tell you about the one I used. It's actually at the bottom. Fogged in bookkeeping, remote bookkeeping and accounting solutions. Oh, it's a firm. Okay. So yeah, if you have a firm that is smaller, independent person, which we'll go into how to find those people later in just a few minutes. That's under hiring is our next list. You can do that. FreshBooks is also invoice and accounting software for small businesses. I don't know about you, but invoicing can definitely be a headache in multifamily. Would you not agree?
Oh, yes.
And receiving, right? If you're not keeping up on what money is out and what money has been paid, it can definitely cause a pain, a financial pain in your company's business, because typically some businesses, I feel large companies are usually take a little bit longer to pay. As a whole, multifamily is probably how many 90 to 120 days out?
Yes.
As a whole. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Not everybody, but depending on what their processes are. So you always need to be ahead and, just have things automated so you can send out reminders. Correct?
Right.
Okay. What's the next one?
Honeybook.
Platform to manage projects. Ooh, project management. That's good. Book clients, send invoices, and get paid. I like the whole part of book clients and manage projects. Because the less the platforms you have to jump from one to the other, the better. The one thing about Intuit did not integrate with our project manager software. So that was hard. When we processed and when we published a video, it was something we had to send a manual email to our accounting department that then went into QuickBooks. So the less you have to do that, the better, for sure. So I don't know about you, but I feel like it's one less headache for a company to have to worry about. Okay, now we have, where was I at?
Less accounting.
Small business accounting software. Pilot, bookkeeping and taxes for small businesses and startups. I like the whole thing, and taxes. And because of the fact that if you can get all that done in one fell swoop, that's always great. We always did the bookkeeping and then sent it off to our CPA, which can be kind of pricey.
Right.
And then we have Pilot, bookkeeping, taxes for, right? Was it the same one?
No. Now we have Planet Solo, create, track, and manage invoices.
Okay. We like the managing. Shoeboxed. Because that's how all small entrepreneur business, that's how it was for me, is everything was in a shoebox.
Right.
So apparently this is the receipt scanning. So this is like Expensify, expense tracking app. That's awesome. I'm going to definitely go do some more research on that one, because I might have to go back to an app for that one. Wave. This is the one that I started using 3 years ago when I went out, when I decided to do consulting. It is free for the first tier of it. They want you to use the invoicing tool. They want you to use, the accounting tool is free. They want you to use the payrolling, the tracking. So as you add services, that's when you pay a fee or a monthly subscription, whatever it is. But just the accounting side, it made the world so much easier for me to keep track of spending, money coming in, money going out, because you just hook up your bank account or credit cards that you're using. So
Right.
really, really love that for sure.
That's cool.
100%. Okay, let me go to the next list of hiring, which we all love not to do. No, I'm just kidding. So when I mentioned about finding an accountant or somebody, a bookkeeper or something like that, Upworks is a which I've used. I've used Upworks, I've used Fiverr, and I've used FreeUp, and they're further down on the list. But these three are a little bit more around the like it says, global virtual freelancing platform. And when they say global, like you can have a virtual assistant in the Philippines. That's like that's where I have contracted a lot of great freelancers is in other countries. So you're able to do that. They've already FreeUp was my favorite because they basically interviewed everybody for you, and then they sent you 3 people that fit your requirement or what your job is, the project that you need to have done. So I don't know. I made it a little bit easier than doing my own interviews for sure.
Right. Yeah.
And then the other thing is that people don't understand is by using like these platforms is the taxes. If you are somewhere, if you're if you're going to pay someone outside the United States, there are different requirements. And since you're going through, whether it's, Upworks, Fiverr, or FreeUp, you're paying that company individually and they're paying the freelancer. So you don't have to worry about any kind of tax ramifications because it gets different for other countries, right? So even I know some companies rather, pay cash, but sometimes it's not worth the legal, issues.
Right.
So Authentic Jobs is a job board for designers and creative pros. Never used them. But that's kind of how Upworks and Fiverr started, was being designers and creative pro type of a platform. I think they have all types of jobs now, but it definitely is worth checking out. Equal Opportunity Work, a job board that celebrates differences and promotes inclusion. That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah. People of Color in Tech, resources for recruiting talent and finding jobs in technology. Definitely another awesome resource. Guru, find and hire freelancers. Outsourcely, hire remote workers worldwide. So I'm assuming some of these are not just designed that so if you needed probably a bookkeeper, you needed a controller, you can outsource a lot of these positions until you absolutely,
are ready to
bring them. Yeah, bring them all in house. So because we use ADP for a long time for HR,
right? So that's what we're on ADP, and we outsourced, especially with marketing and like creative stuff. We've outsourced and we've used Fiverr.
Yeah. So I always recommend people when I tried I got better results on Fiverr than I did Upworks. Just maybe it was just the timing right for creative, and then I got better results on. I tried each one of them. I didn't want to say forget it, right? But I tried each one of them and took the time to figure out if it worked for my business and for me. So that's what I highly recommend everybody doing. Then we have what was the last one that I was at when I got shiny pennied?
You do Outsourcely and then people per hour.
Okay. Yes. 99 Designs. This was one of the first platforms, that I even knew existed that was similar to Fiverr. But I know they've changed a lot, but when they started, you either had you could get so many designs for $99. You can get another package of designs for, $300, or you can get the biggest package of design and options for $600, right? If you said, I need a logo, well, you're going to get 4 for $99. You're going to get 10 for, and I'm just making up numbers because this was like 10 years, maybe not 10 years ago. It's more like 6 or 7 years ago, but they were definitely, it was a very good tool, platform, because they what's the word I'm looking for? They sourced everybody,
Yes.
So
I
Really,
like
really,
that. Yeah.
yeah. And it shows you what they can do. They also put examples out and reference. A lot of these also have reviews now, that they didn't have before. Reviews on Fiverr has reviews. Upworks, I think they do. They didn't when it didn't go so well when I used them. Free Up manages their personal assistants and freelancers so well that they always, if you had any problems, they were very hands-on with everything. So they would refund you hours if things didn't go right. I remember I got a project and I needed this gentleman. I hired this gentleman. He didn't do anywhere near what I asked, and so they refunded my money. And they just gave really great customer service. I don't know if they still do that. That was when they first started out 4 or 5 years ago.
Which is why we get reviews.
Yeah, definitely reviews work. TaskRabbit. So that is, so I have had friends that have used this. You can do everything on this. You can promote yourself to do projects, or you can hire somebody to get the projects done. Everything from a PowerPoint presentation to hanging pictures in your office. So
that is very handy, and I'm gonna have to Google that one later.
Yes. Put somebody to come to put your IKEA furniture together if you get stuck. So by all means, it is definitely very, very useful.
I have an entire list of tasks that I could get rolling out on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And last but not least are time tracking, reporting, and invoicing. Again, like we said, invoicing is very important. Also, keeping up with your invoices and getting them paid. So you want to make sure that you're timely with all those. You want to hit some of these. I have not. One of these, I think, is on my list that I have used.
Yeah. So some of these are new to me, like Toggle for time tracking for your employees. Which, I mean, if you're using a like an ADP or that third party HR company, I mean, they usually have that included in their packages,
Oh, okay.
Those things. Harvest, another web-based tracking. That's really cool.
Yeah, some of these I think put a widget. We tried to use it, didn't really, not any of these, but we tried to use something like this because for editing and things of that sort. And some of them have a like they have to log in, right, so that they track and they follow and they can track how many hours that they've been working on a project. I don't know if any of these have that, but if your company requires that, or we kind of had some old schoolers that were like, what are they doing if they're working from home? How do you know they're working, type of thing? Yeah. If you have those higher ups, or if you're that person that has to know, I think some of these tools have that within them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Zoho Books.
I wonder if they're a part of the Zoho CRM family.
I'm assuming they are.
Okay.
They've really branched off into a lot of different directions.
Okay.
Other than just, your basic CRM. So this doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Well, get it. Make your life easier for sure. Timulator, time tracking app. So I'm pretty sure this is one of those that has a extension put on the browser so that they can track the time, even though I know I don't feel that if I wouldn't have a problem with somebody doing this for me, because if I'm doing my job, it shouldn't matter, right? But just some people have that, I don't know, they want to know, right?
Right.
So I want to know, because if I'm giving too much time as a freelancer, then I want to know from that end, right? Like then I should be charging more. I should be sending them an additional invoice, right? That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, no, that's a completely different way to look at that, besides feeling like it's just, and you can use it to track yourself to become more efficient versus spreading the tool like this because you feel like it's someone that's trying to track you.
Yeah.
I think that's what puts people off a lot, is the big brother feel of it being like it's working against them and not for them. But a lot of times these can work for you.
Absolutely. I agree. Collective is a platform designed for self-employed people to handle company information. Is that company formation, taxes, accounting, compliance, and more.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. That could have been under legal as well. But hey, at least it's in here because that's very, very important. I don't feel that when people jump into, if they're an individual, we do, as a person who is an individual running their own company and started one by them, well, me and shout out to Janet, we had to wear multiple hats. If we'd have had all these different resources back in the day, when we started in 2005, like OMG, my life would have been, I'd have slept a lot more, right?
So much easier. Yeah.
Yeah. And last but not least, it's set, track, and achieve a yearly financial goal for your agency. Harpoon.
Mm-hmm. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, definitely. All in all, I think that if people just try to do their best to automate things the best that they can, and follow, the requirements like Marie puts in this resource sheet. She does say, here are some best practices, clearly outline, like if you are gathering data, make sure you clearly outline how you're going to be using that data. You want to make sure that if you're going to be doing something different with your data, you have a downloadable PDF to let them know what you're going to be doing. Users should be able to delete or modify their information at any time if they are put into a database. Just being transparent with what you're doing, right? Period. End of story. That's, everything. I could read through this, but I'm not going to, because it's about being transparent, and it's also about following the laws. I can say this, that back when we first started, YouTube hadn't even been bought by Google. Then when they were bought by Google, now they had to worry about all these people that were abusing and stealing music and things of that sort. Well, we eventually bought a library full of music that we had licenses to. We happened to have, before this occurred, or maybe this editor at the time didn't realize that he shouldn't download this free music, but he did download this free music for a charity project that we did. And after he had he went to go do his own thing, hugs, kisses, we loved you, see you later. There are law firms that's all they do, is go and look for people who are legally taking images and music and then reselling them. And we did a project. We didn't even resell this project. We did it for free for an association. And they came after, well, they first tried to call it the association. And then when it got transferred to us, we handled it, obviously. And our legal counsel said, just pay them. And so they got $1,500 out of us, right?
Mm-hmm. That sucks.
Yeah,
but I don't think people realize that there are firms and people that are actually out there looking for that person that downloaded and used that picture, that graphic, that song that they weren't supposed to use.
Absolutely. And so it's not worth it. It's not worth that $1,500. It could have been worse, right? Luckily, we had a legal counsel on retainer for things like that. But if we'd have fought it, we would have spent more money on fighting it, right? It wasn't worth it. But that's what law firms do, and I get it. I get why, because people are stealing people's artwork. They're stealing what they have put their heart and souls into. But just abide by the rules, and protect yourself and do the right thing.
Do your homework.
Do your homework, for sure. There's so many resources out there now that help you with that, and if you're not sure, Google it. Google is your mother, people. Absolutely. So, thank you, Laura, for joining us.
Thank you, Laura.
I have one more. Did I hold, please?
What you got?
Nothing. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything.
Okay. Thought you had a little extra nugget of goodness for us.
Oh. My nuggets of goodness. Oh my gosh.
You have lots of nuggets of goodness. So.
I'm trying to gather them and put them into one place. Marie Folio has done a great job. I highly recommend going to check her out when you can. Her book was great. It definitely helped in, I'm constantly learning new things. Just because I ran a business for 15 years doesn't mean that I can't be learning anything new. Nobody knows, when you stop learning, you die. Your brain turns to mush, actually. So
and everything changes all the time. So
yep.
you have to keep up. You can't just, what you learned 15 years ago isn't necessarily even relevant today in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, 5 years ago, 5 years ago, it's not the same. 3 years ago, technology is changing, advancing in so much time that it doesn't, you need to stay current and up to date. And so I do my best to do that. And, we want to continue to share these topics. Our next topic will be, let me think. Let me go back to
our calendar.
Yes, is how to market your business. So we definitely, next week, Pi, you need to come back and join us next week.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us. But yes, marketing your business will be, the series is for startups or anybody that wants to learn. And if you are a guest and want to actually come on and share your knowledge from working with us in a startup, working with a startup, it doesn't matter. That's what we want to make sure that we share what we've learned in all this time of our 20 plus years of experience. And eventually we're going to be 12. Talking about this book. Can you see it?
Yep. 12 and a half, leveraging the emotional ingredients necessary for business success.
By
Gary Vee. I love him.
The man.
The man.
Yes. So we'll probably do that once we finish this series, just to talk through it. I've gotten through I'm almost done with the first chapter, but it is very interesting why he started writing it. And it's just knowledge that he's always sharing his knowledge. He's another one I highly recommend. Go follow him. He, if you can't handle his cursing, then he's got a curse-free YouTube channel because he teaches kids. He wants the youth of the world. He wants to change how we do business, as people, and lead with kindness. He's definitely, what he preaches, he actually does. So it's pretty amazing. And so I share whatever I learned from him, and really whatever I learned from others, and what I learned from my own experiences. I'm all about, teaching and sharing and bringing others up. I think we'll get further in life for sure. Right.
And that's what he's all about. I love that about him.
Yes, me too. Thank you, Valerie, for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes. And again, what do we have? How are you? Let's see, Deb. Did I miss anything?
Nope, I think you got it.
Okay. So yes, next week we'll be talking more about how marketing our business, and continue on the series. And I think that'll do it for today. Okay, everyone.
Thanks for joining.
Bye.